Hello, Les Lesterson, promotional guy for E3. I just want to say how happy we are that people came back for day 2 after we let Ubisoft repeat what they've shown for the last several years first. We realize this was probably not a good idea and upset a lot of people, but, well, frankly, we just feel sorry for them. They really do try. I mean, not hard, but they do try. Like that kid in kindergarten that would accidentally glue macaroni to his forehead instead of the craft paper. Bless his heart, he's really trying. He's just not that good at what he does. So hey, thanks for sticking around with us and letting Microsoft and Square Enix do their stuff. Just like Ubisoft, you get a gold star.
This is Crashed While Loading, the fusion of entertainment and information.
Hello there.
Weekly updates and opinions on video games,
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
movies,
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
TV shows,
This is the way.
This is the way.
and so much more.
JJ, what do you want to do tonight?
Off. We need to go on a quick adventure. Hello there, people of the interwebs, and welcome to the 37th episode of Crashed While Loading. I am your host, Ashen Phoenix, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're awesome, good looking, probably smart. If you're listening to it live, you're even better. And you can do that over at twitch.tv/crashedwhiloloading. Subscribe, and see if I can do this as a proper YouTuber would. I'm not on, I mean, I am on YouTube too, but that's not the... make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for constant notifications. We're going to say this every episode because, believe it or not, people actually don't think about it. It's sad, but it's probably true, although I don't do the notification bell because it's annoying. I do it for maybe a couple of them, but if you do it for like every channel that you want to know if they have new content, you just get constantly buzzed on your computer and your phone and email, and it's just not worth it. Because you know what you could do instead on YouTube, at least, is just go to your subscribe page, and it just lists all the crap people have put up since the last time you looked. It's easy. It's not that difficult. Unless, of course, it's the weekend of E3, and it goes to like 45 pages of just shit that is constantly coming out, because a lot of them did the same stuff over and over again. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I mean, I like IGN. I enjoy them. But if I saw somebody else had a video, the same video, and IGN did, I always clicked on the other somebody. Just because, I don't know, give them the extra click. Let somebody, let like GameSpot, I think is the other one, or Game Ranks. Let them have a little bit of that gamer juice. Give them the juice. Give them that gamer clicking juice. That is, of course, how the entire internet is fueled, is by gamer juice. Don't ask where it comes from. Don't ask about its protein content. Gamer juice. It's where it's at. See, Eric is in the chat. He says he doesn't think about it either. But, you know, I watch like Corridor Crew, and they have to remind people every time, and they actually can see the stats because they're smart. I, of course, don't have, you know, it's very easy to see the stat of when 2 people have visited and no one's actually subscribed to your thing. That's very easy to calculate. I don't have to go into the system data to do that, but apparently there's ways to do that. I'm too lazy to care that much. I really just don't. But, you know, one of these days I might. If you go to twitch.tv/crashwhiloloading and tell your friends. I mean, just putting that out there. I'm kidding. All right, anyway, moving on. Yeah, E3. Holy crap, man. A lot of disappointments. Ubisoft, looking at you. Gearbox, mostly. I don't know. I wasn't too... The Tiny Tina thing, it's a great trailer, but I love all of Borderlands trailers, yet I'm not a huge Borderlands fan. I've never finished any of the games. I get bored with them after a time. I don't know. But before we get into E3, I have a couple reviews. First of them is one that seems really odd. Nicolas Cage and Willie's Wonderland, which is basically Five Nights at Freddy's without being Five Nights at Freddy's. This guy comes into town, he goes into the Willie's Wonder World, and all the animatronic things killed everyone that came before, and they try to kill him. That's the premise of the movie. It's Nicolas Cage. It is super stupid. It is super weird, and we enjoyed it from start to finish. We really did. The funny thing is Nicolas Cage, he's in this movie. He's the main guy. He doesn't have one speaking line, one word in the entire movie. He makes a couple noises, and like screams and yells and things like that, but he never actually says an English word. I mean, unless you spell out, then technically it is an English word, but it's really more of a sound effect. But no, it was like, I think you can get it on Redbox. It's $5 on Amazon. We were bored. We wanted to watch a movie. It was like 83 minutes long. It's not even a full hour and a half. And I will tell you, it is exactly as long as it needs to be. The secondary actors, the kids, of course, that are in it, they're not great. I mean, it's basically a good old-fashioned 80s, 90s B-movie. The puppets are so stupid. You could tell it's costume people, but it's still, I don't know, there was something charming about it. It was great. I loved it. Sib loved it too. And when we both like something that's that stupid, we would just laugh. We just laughed at it. It was not scary at all. It was supposed to be, but it wasn't. I think it might have had one or two jump scares in it that got you, but it wasn't that big a deal. I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun, stupid movie. I don't know, $5. Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. Like $2 or so, $1.50, whatever it is at Redbox, or if you wait long enough and it's free on Amazon Prime, it's worth it. It's actually got like 4.5-star rating on Amazon, and I think just because of the exact same reasons. It should not be good. It should not be watched, and yet go watch it. It's fantastic. The other one, and I guess I can avoid spoilers for Loki, the first episode of Loki. I'm intrigued. I mean, I see people are like, it wasn't as good as WandaVision. You're the same people that said the first 3 episodes of WandaVision were garbage, so I don't want to hear it from you, for one, Peanut Gallery. Sit down, shut up, and go back with Pigpen and wallow in your dirt. Second, yes, Scribbles MMOs, anything Nick Cage is worth $5. I can't entirely, well, no. Wicker Man was pretty boring. These got a few real big duds. There was the one where he was an ambulance driver, too. That one was awful. And those were movies were before he got in IRS trouble and bought $100 million dinosaur skeleton skull or T-Rex skull or whatever it was. He brought a multi-million-dollar T-Rex skull. Yeah, not a good arbiter of his own money. Wesley Snipes, looking at you, too. But anyway, Loki. So it's a big setup, man. This basically, where WandaVision kind of just, it was a personal story, and it sort of kind of is setting up into what I see is coming. I mean, you kind of know it with the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the title, Multiverse of Madness. They're clearly going for multiverse stuff. This Phase 4 thing is going to be huge on multiple timelines and the Back to the Future kind of science of that. And this episode of Loki set, I mean, it was, I forget what it was. It was 45 minutes, I think, probably a runtime. No, it was like 50 minutes in totals. But they've got, the Marvel TV shows have like 5 hours of credits because they also go through all the dialogue of all the other countries, even though I don't live in Istanbul and I don't care what the voice actors in Istanbul are dubbing over this. I don't need to know that. Just like leave that for Istanbul. It's cool. It's all right. I'll forgive you. But it seriously sets up that there are far more powerful creatures, that Thanos, as strong as he was and as, bad as he was, he's a lightweight in comparison to the rest of the Marvel universe. They kind of set that up in the Eternals trailer as well. If you know much about the comics, the Eternals are very, very strong. Especially the whole team of them, they can cause some damage. And if I remember right, they're in the in the Marvel universe, they're actually responsible for the introduction of the X gene into the human population. They've been here since early man. So, it was a good overall, and it was a good look at why I loved they looked at why Loki is the villain he is, and yet what's motivating him really, because he's just basically, for the most part, as much as everybody loves him being played by Tom Hiddleston, he's just kind of a generic villain really. He comes in, he causes chaos, he gets beat, and he goes away. That's pretty much it. And this looks like it's going to delve a lot more into why he is like that, what he really wants, and maybe, not as two-dimensional a villain as he has been so far. But that's just me. So, yeah, don't know a whole lot, and I don't want to get into spoilers, otherwise I'd go into even more detail, but unless some major stuff happens, I probably won't do that till the series is over. So, moving on to news. Before we got a few things before we hit E3, because that'll take a while. Briefly, Lord of the Rings is an anime. Yeah, they're gonna do a Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim, Roragi. I'm not really good with Lord of the Rings verbiage. It's where Rohan comes from. The king of Rohan. Rohan Solo comes from there. I'm just pissing. I know people that like Lord of the Rings listen to, and I honestly like irritating people. Like what Han Solo said in Star Trek, The Last Adventure of Doctor Who. What's up? That kind of thing. So anyway, no, I'm excited for it. I like that they're keeping it in. It's actually part of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's like a companion piece, but I guess it's in the Jackson verse. I don't know if that's a thing. Kind of like how that new Gollum game. It's not quite the same Gollum, but I have it. A lot of the places that they showed in that looked like they're very Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings inspired. So that's cool. There's not a lot to this. It's explore the story of Helm's Deep, a fortress that served as the pivotal location in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and war with Rorarim that will center on the king of Rohan, Helmhammer, and dive into the blood-soaked story. Also, by the way, I just want to remind people, for when The Two Towers came out, when was Lord of the Ring Two Towers release date? Yes, December 18th, 2022, or 2022. In the future! And I just want to remind people that this was a year and a couple months after 9/11, and I still remember idiots posting that how disrespectful it was of Peter Jackson to call this The Two Towers after calling it The Two Towers after what had happened to the World Trade Center, and that it was not a good homage, and that he should totally change the name. Having apparently no clue that it was actually always called The Two Towers in a book that had come out, 400 years beforehand. I don't remember when Tolkien was alive. 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. I can't remember. I'm not a huge fan of the books. I don't know Lord of the Rings inside and out. Get off my back. But yeah, I just want to remind people that. But no, it's cool. They don't have anything. There's no trailer to really go off of. So I'm excited. I hope it turns out good. And there was no trailer, unlike He-Man, who has a trailer now, and it looks good. And I'm kind of excited for it. I have also heard, Strafe, friend of the show, former host, pointed me out that apparently a lot of the really toxic She-Ra fans are like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Why does the girl show get a budget, not get a budget like He-Man does? Blah, blah, blah. And they're salty. Hey, morons. Yeah, this is the same company that also did Castlevania. So if this one does good and they wrap it up in 3 or 4 seasons like Castlevania did, guess what would come after that if they wanted to continue with the He-Man story, but maybe with a different character? Yeah, it'd be She-Ra in this really cool style that Kevin Smith did. Yeah. Oh, because he's a fan of both of them. Don't ya know there? Aren't ya special now? Yes, you are. You bunch of morons. Anyway, it's a dumb controversy. And, they actually, Netflix and Peter Jackson actually have had to get out in front of it and try to calm down the... I don't know what the Sharonies... I don't know what the She-Ra version of Bronies is. So we're going to call them the My Sharonies. My Sharonies. Boom, boo, boom, boom. Okay, I'll stop singing. So the Sharonies are real upset that He-Man looks awesome, and it does. And having read the description, I have a forecast that what we saw in the trailer is largely the first episode, maybe the second. I have a feeling it will all be the first, because they already said that Skeletor, the epic battle between He-Man and Skeletor happens, and that this series is actually going to take place in the future, like decades later. And it's already showed the Hawk Girl, Attila, I think her name is. It's been I'm not as huge. I've loved it as a kid, but I have not kept up with it, obviously. It does not, the old ones do not go, the 4 frames of animation they made for every episode don't hold up well, surprisingly. So there's some facts out there, and then I saw the trailer. So here's my prediction for what's going to actually happen in the show. 1 episode in the past, wrapping up the old He-Man show in an epic battle between He-Man and Skeletor. Everyone's going to find out, oh, Prince Adam is actually He-Man. He never told us, and he didn't trust us. He's kind of a dick. And then he, probably looks like he dies, and Skeletor takes over, and everything goes to crap. Kind of like they did with the Thundercats reboot and that one there. So jump now. Epic battle happens. They jump into the future, and Tila's like going to try to. Something comes up, and they realize they need He-Man and the Eternians and the old team. And she goes to every one of them. One of them's working in a garage, and she's like, "I'm getting the team back together." And Man-at-Arms looks at her and says, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." And then they go to a pizzeria, and Orko is making pizza. He's flipping pizzas for a living now. And they're like, "We're getting the team back together." And he's like, "Well, I got to do a double shift." And like, "Orko, it's the fate of the world. You son of a bitch, I'm in." And it just does that over and over. There's also saying that it's going to focus on the princess and the bird lady more, Tila. So that's why I think it's going to focus on, they've said flat out that it's going to focus more on Princess, and He-Man's kind of sidelined. So I think He-Man's out of the picture for most of the show because they're trying to find him or bring him back or whatever happened. I think it's going to be find him. He'll have gone into an exile like Luke Skywalker or something, unfortunately. Although they'll do this one better. Ryan Johnson! Anyway, so they get the team back together. They look for He-Man. He'll be the last one, of course, they find, probably in the season finale. But they're also still going to be salty with Prince Adam that he was He-Man. He never trusted them enough to tell them. And then season 2 will be them working towards healing that, and all the meanwhile trying to stop Skeletor and his people from whatever skullduggery they're up to. That's how this whole show is going to go. That's my prediction. What am I basing that on? Just what's available on the internet in that one trailer. That's it. That's how He-Man's going to work. I could be entirely wrong. I was only half wrong on a lot of WandaVision stuff. So, who knows? And also, Red Sonja apparently is going to be played by, this is from Ericus, Hannah Joan Carmen. You know her as the villain Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was really good in that. I liked her a lot. cool. I mean, it's good that the Red Sonja's finally getting a thing. I've never been a huge Conan fan. I mean, I liked the game more than I like the comics and the movies and stuff. So every time I hear Red Sonja, I always it takes me a minute to realize, oh, she doesn't have to have gigantic F-size boobs because it's not Red Monica from Battle Chasers. It's the other chick in skimpy armor and her boobs hanging out. Yeah, they're both basically known for the same two assets. And at least Red Sonja actually got a lot of comic spin-offs and stuff like that. Yes, and Erica says she's got to hit the weights. Yeah. Who was Natalie Portman? If you haven't seen Natalie Portman for pictures for Thor: Love and Thunder, she beefed up. I mean, especially for a woman of her stature, because she's tiny. Wow. Yeah, she's got some guns going there. Who's got some tickets to the gun show? Da Widow. So yeah. Anyway, so there's that. And something more near and dear to my heart. Kevin Bacon is going to be a villain in the Toxic Avenger reboot. Now, what's the Toxic Avenger? I know anyone out there that didn't have USA up all night is asking. It's a horrible B-movie about being when toxic stuff was really bad and it was all Earth-conscious things in like the 90s and late 80s. It's the Captain Planet era, and he was a janitor that fell into toxic waste, and he became super strong, kind of like Captain America, but hideously deformed, ugly, and he carried a mop and a mop bucket as a weapon instead of a, vibranium shield. That's all of it. I don't know why I have fond memories of staying up at like 9:30 at night on a school night. Don't tell mom. And watching these fucking stupid, horrible movies. They're just so bad. And I loved them. I'm actually looking forward to it. Apparently, Peter Dinklage is in this, too. I don't know what role. I assume he's not playing the Toxic Avenger because he's short. But he always plays. I love his characters. He's a good actor. I loved him in the X-Men movies, too, playing, I think it was Trask he played, who was such a dick in the comics. But, yeah, so good. Kevin Bacon. I like Kevin Bacon, too. Of course, best known for Tremors. I think he's been in some other things, but really, you peaked at Tremors, Kevin. That's where that... Anyway, and... I can't even do that. I like him too much. So, Fallout 76 Battle Royale, they're going to get rid of it. I forgot this was a thing in Fallout 76. And so did the people still playing Fallout 76. So... fuck off. Nobody cares. All right. Now, why everyone tuned in. E3! So I've got this broken down into the 3 Footloose. Scribble says he's best known for Footloose. I've never heard of it. No idea what that is. That sounds... Tell you what, that sounds like some sort of weird, dumb dancing movie. Like, I don't know, like some dumb small town is like band dancing and they've got to raise awareness and get dancing reinstated, and then the parents at the end are like, "Oh, dancing is fun. It's not the devil." But I don't know. I'm just guessing. It just sounds stupid like that. It's just
This can only end in tears.
So I'm going to stop. So I got it: Gearbox, Ubisoft, Microsoft, Bethesda, and Square Enix. Those were the big 4. There's a lot of information with E3. I have never... I love E3 since forever. Since I would read about it 2 months after the fact in magazines when I was a kid and a teenager. And I've never been on a show where I would be, have to actually pay it really close attention and watch nearly every trailer for it so I can do my stupid podcast properly. But it's a little bit different. It's kind of cool, actually. It gave me more of an excuse to sit down there like a lump and watch as many of these trailers as I could get through. Some of them, like Stalker 2, don't care. I don't know the Stalker franchise. I mean, cool. I hope people like it, and I hope that's what they're wanting. And And yes, guys, I know a lot of his stuff. Also, he was Sebastian Shaw in the X-Men First Class. You guys didn't mention that. You didn't mention that. He was really good at that too, right up until he got a coin in his brain. So, we'll hit Gearbox. Well, I'm just doing it in the order that they kind of came out. Gearbox was first. Let's see. I got a special thing for some of these.
I am very disappointed.
Yeah, that would be about it. So Godfall's coming to PlayStation 4. It was a PS5 exclusive, but it was a temporary exclusive. So not that big a deal. I saw people like, so much for getting a PlayStation 5. Oh, I'm gonna just play it on my PlayStation 4. Okay. Why are you getting so salty? Just because you can't find one of the stupid things is no reason to be pissed off at people that have. I would like to have one. I'm not pissed off at people that have actually spent the time and clicked on fucking refresh screens over and over to do it. There's a thing called Tribes of Midgard. Homeworld 3 is in production. I do know the Homeworld series. It's a real-time strategy thing. Big, spacey. It's way beyond my level of not comprehension, but patience. I'd lose my patience. I don't have that kind of time. And I say that all the while looking at Age of Empires 4 and going, oh, that brings me back, and I might actually have to try that. You know why I can try that? Day one on Game Pass. That's why I can try that. The biggest one from Gearbox was Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which was a great trailer, I have to say. I love Borderlands trailers and their games and their wicked, witty little humor things, even if I'm not a huge fan of Borderlands. Although I will say I thoroughly enjoyed Telltale Games' Tales from the Borderland. I finished all 4 or 5 episodes of that. I really like the Telltale stuff. That was really good, but it also, it wasn't a shooter. And I like shooters, don't get me wrong. And then there was some behind-the-scenes crap from the Borderlands movie, which that I actually didn't watch because I'll wait for the trailer. I don't care what Randy Pitchford visiting the set has to say about it. I'm sure he is a lovely individual. I just don't care. So that was Gearbox. That was pretty much it. The whole shebang. That's it. Yeah. So that one was pretty much meh. And then we went on to Ubisoft.
Inconceivable!
Yeah, they did it twice in a row. They did pretty much right out of the gates. They ruined E3 day one by using this. The only good thing to come out of the Ubisoft one would, two things. The Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope. The Mario Rabbids games are oddly very good. I mean, there's only the one. It was oddly really good and cool. I'm glad that they're making sequels. It's funny, I think. And then, of course, there was Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I'll go a little bit more over that. There's also Far Cry DLC. They're adding it to the Far Cry 6 DLC Season Pass, which will let you play the villains from the last 3 games, apparently. There's talking about their Werewolves Within movie trailer, which, by the way, I saw recently, unrelated to all of this. It looks good. I didn't realize it was based on an Ubisoft property, to be honest with you. It's a multiplayer VR game from 2016, which is why I didn't have a VR headset back then, so that's a good reason to miss it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting a Siege of Paris DLC. I haven't played Valhalla. It's a long-ass game, and I'm still playing through Mass Effect, which I've already played once, which is really good. I'm really enjoying that. By the way, congrats to Renfail for finishing Mass Effect 2 and not having anybody die. I did not do that the first hours. You got 100 hours. Wow. He says he got 100 hours in your first playthrough for Valhalla. Wow. Yeah, I've heard it. I mean, it's not surprising. I've heard that. That's just crazy. Yeah. And he didn't even do completion. It took him 6 months. Good God, that is a long-ass game. I'll get to it eventually. One of these days. If they stop releasing games all the time, I could get to it. Especially, well, I say re-releasing because I'm also playing through Resident Evil 2 Remake with Sib in tow now. I started playing it. I never finished it. And we've had so much fun with Resident Evil 7 and then recently 8. I was like, would you like to watch me play this one? And she says, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And so then we got the team back together. Just Dance 2020. Just Dance is a 2022 release date is confirmed. Good for them. I don't like games that I have to sweat and get exercise from. That is awful. Rainbow Six Siege is getting crossplay and cross progression soon, which good. I mean, that's good for that. You know what else would have been really nice from Tom Clancy? What was that? Yeah, something with Sam Fisher in it. You fucking twats. Seriously. It's been almost a decade since, now I can't remember the series, but yeah. Bloody hell. I just totally forgot the series. Way to make the point. I'm really that interested that I can't even remember the stupid show, but it's a mental block when you ever try to remember something really hard? And then Splinter Cell. Thank you, Renfail. I knew someone was gonna have it. It's always, I don't know, it's something about talking on the live that you're like, spoons. You just, everything goes out the door. So that's cool. Rainbow Six Siege is getting crossplay. Still no Sam Fisher, still dead and buried. Dead and buried. Riders Republic, which is, I don't know, it's a weird-ass looking game. I actually saw someone mention that it looked like a motorcycle, bicycle, flying, snowboarding. It's all sorts of sports stuff. Wingsuits version of Fall Guys. Was that right? The right one? Yeah, Fall Guys, the big bean guys. I think that's actually pretty apt. It's exactly what it looked like. I didn't even put that together until I saw someone do that. And they say it's an open world multiplayer game where people play with friends and have career complete and participate in sports. But I mean, you're all racing towards a finish line and you're screwing each other over. So Rocksmith Plus subscription service. I forgot that was a thing. Rocksmith Plus, it's where like a video game version of a real guitar that can teach you. Them doing a subscription service, from what I saw, was not real popular. And then Rainbow Six Extraction, which was, what did they change that from? Rainbow Six Quarantine was the original title of that game. But for some reason in 2020, somewhere towards the first third to a half of the year, they thought that Rainbow Six Quarantine didn't quite have the ring that they had hoped it would, and that people might not want to play it. I don't know why. I can't think of any reason why that would have just kind of been bad timing. Personally, I don't give a crap. I'm not that sensitive that something that says quarantine makes me like, oh, I can't play that game. You know, like the game Quarantine. I have no problem playing that game. It's a fun little game. You try to kill the entire population with a virus. It's cool. I like it. I mean, I don't play it anymore. I did one for a time, but it's fine. I just find it funny that they do that. Like, I can get the original Spider-Man promo had him catch a helicopter between the Twin Towers. Those are coming up a lot today. In a giant spider web to keep it from crashing. I get why they pulled that one and then why they had to digitally remove the Twin Towers from everything, because everyone was still pretty raw. And I'm not going to downplay the COVID thing, but the fact that the word quarantine was changed, it's a word that's still going to be used throughout human history, just because we actually had to have quarantines, which we have had before. Anybody else remember the Black Death, or is that just me? I mean, those were fun times. Fun times. By the way, I should mention that I have had a New Year's resolution for a very long time to live forever. And so far, things are going exactly as I have resolved them to. Just want to point that out. So, yeah, Rainbow Six Extraction, I don't know why I keep calling it Rainbow Siege 6, is going to come out September 16th. So kudos to them for finally doing that. Overall, Ubisoft's thing was, I mean, like I said, they could have shown so much more, and they didn't. at all.
I am very disappointed.
Yeah, I'm going to use that. Again, because I thought of that line today when I was watching, or yesterday when I was watching that, and I was like, I need to pull that clip for the show. Okay, so now moving on to the big guys, the good ones, the pretty ones. This is actually going a lot faster than I thought it would. I probably should slow down and talk a little bit more. Yeah, yes, Renfield, it is. That's Fifth Element is one of my all-time favorites, and the same director too. By the way, what was that? Oh, I can't remember. It was like the something of 1,000 planets, or it came out more recently. It's the same director. That was a great movie. It may not have been the strongest plot and story, but visually, oh man, that was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Was it Valorian? I think it was. Is that the Valedictorian? Yeah, it was something like that. Valerian, that was it. Yeah, Valerian. That was it. And it was good. I mean, was it great? It was not fantastic. Overall, maybe, like, story-wise, it was, but, like, the science behind it and the visuals and the stuff that they did in that, I actually need to sit down and watch that movie again. It was great. It was it was a fun movie. I mean, is it on the level of maybe like Fifth Element? No. But then again, Fifth Element is not on the level of, we always think, I mean, remember, it has, the ending scene is the cheesiest thing with the song that they do, and they're just making out in the rejuvenation chamber, and I mean, it's got some really hokey crap in it. And it's just what makes it so charming. So anyway, can't see that. DVA Mechanics, thanks for following. Appreciate that. Had to squish my little.
I launched that pug into space.
And yes, Renfield, it is the EverQuesting leveling. What else was I gonna use? Seriously, for subscribers. So the big one, really, I was shocked. I didn't watch all of the Xbox Bethesda stream right out all the way through, but I wanted to catch the beginning when the Howard came out and spoke, and I was actually shocked that out of the gate, they're just like, and here's Starfield. Whoa. I think it's cool. I'm glad. I really expected them to like hold off until the very end to show this, but no. Like this first thing, within the first 5 minutes, they're doing it. It's gonna come out November 11th, 11/11/2022. So, sorry guys, we got a year and a half. I was hoping for the thing they did with 76 and Fallout 4, where like, and here's some footage, and it's coming out in 6 months. It was a long shot. I know it was a long shot. I don't know what the game or what the show is about, but I have seen another article recently. Recently, I mean, I was waiting for the show to start, and that the creative director Todd Howard said that it was basically he said Skyrim in space was part of it, and I forget the gal's name, but she's also on his team. Said that it was like a Han Solo simulator, where you can just get in your ship and you fly to the planet, and you have adventures and things like that. And so if that's honestly, I liked the Han Solo simulator thing. If that's what it's like, I'm good. I liked the ship designs. I liked everything I saw. Yeah, that's exactly right. Sounds great. I loved everything I saw of it. Hopefully it looks like they're not using the same engine anymore. It had way too much detail. I don't know what engine they were using. But hopefully it plays smoother. Like, the first person stuff in the battle mechanics and things like Skyrim and the last Fallout 4 and 76, they're janky. That's why Fallout has that VATS system to slow down time. Otherwise, if you don't use that, it's really, really janky. It's not great combat mechanics for a first person or third person. That's right, Creation Engine 2. I should have remembered that. It was only splattered over every other like intro part of a lot of their stuff. So, yeah, and it was all over. I forgot about that. better shows than this would take things like notes, or they could read the article I'm looking at where it says the new game will be first on Bethesda's Creation Engine 2, which promises improved graphical fidelity and other improvements. That's one too many improves, by the way, person that wrote the article over at IGN. One improvement is all you need. So, yeah. It says, the Starfield is about hope and shared humanity we all share. Oh, there she is. Bethesda's Ashley Chang describes Starfield as Skyrim in space and Han Solo simulator. There we go. So it was really great. I was glad. Yeah, and the poster does look very. Redfill in the chat says the poster looks sweet. It looks. What does it remind me of? It kind of like that 80s, early 90s movie era when something was in space. That's what it kind of reminds me of. That Star Wars style, Indiana Jones, hand drawn of the human characters. Just it's that style of poster, and it does. I kind of dig it too, and I really like the design of the ships and the world. It's not too futuristic, but it's also not backwards futuristic like Aliens was. This spacesuits are still kind of bulky and all that stuff. So we're gonna have to wait. I imagine they're gonna have. I'm gonna say by the end of the year we'll probably get like a gameplay trailer of some kind, but like at the very end of the year, because then they'll have a whole year to get. They're gonna have to keep hype built up. They haven't had to do that in the last 2 games they released because they're like, and now they're coming out in 5 months. So it's easy to keep your hype up when it's 5 months away. It's a little different when it's a year and a half away. So we'll see. Halo Infinite confirmed for the holiday 2021. Kind of figured that it was delayed. It was supposed to come out with the Series X and S, but it got delayed because of COVID. And part of it was because of COVID, and part of it was because everybody made fun of how horrible the stupid alien guy looked, and that the graphics looked like hot garbage on a tin metal roof. So they postponed it. I watched both trailers. I mean, the one trailer is basically just a cinematic kind of trailer. If it's using the in-game engine, that's awesome. It looked great. And the multiplayer one, I gotta say, it's been a long time since I've played Halo multiplayer. Kind of looking forward to playing some Halo multiplayer again. It looked like fun. I loved the different armor sets. They had one, it was kind of Spartan-esque, but it also had a samurai look to it. And, he got the blade, was striking people. They also added grappling hooks to the multiplayer in the way of Titanfall, I think, is where that looked like that was inspired from. Sorry, as I come in and out of focus for some reason, when I'm sitting, I sit on one of my legs, and it fell asleep. So I had to switch, and I am now sitting on my other leg because it is comfortable to me. Sitting in my chair normally is uncomfortable. I do not like it. So, yeah, I really loved. I'm really hoping Halo Infinite is good. I know it's supposed to be open world campaign-y and stuff like that. So Halo needs a win after the last 2 were. The multiplayers were supposedly good. I didn't get that into them because I didn't get that into them. And the biggest disappointment for me and Sib, who is also a huge Halo fan, that was where she really cut her teeth on video games, was the first Halo back in the day. When we plug in Halo 5 and we can't figure out how to play it multiplayer, and turns out because there is no multiplayer on that. I mean, not in the same living room, not split screen. Man, we were extremely disappointed. So, let's see here. Forza Horizon 5 announced, takes the series to Mexico. I actually downloaded Forza Horizon because it's on Game Pass, and it looks amazing. Not a car driver guy. I just still, regardless of how hard I try, I am not a car driver guy. I don't do car driving. I can do it, and I'm pretty good at it, but I get bored very easily. It's just, and as beautiful as the game is, I don't care that much. It's just, there's other things I'd rather play. So I know it's a big series. but good for them. So then there is a Redfall, a vampire shooter announced from Dishonored's Arcane Studios. And Dishonored, by the way, if you haven't played those games, they're fantastic. I think I finished the first one and not the second one, which means I need to go back and finish the second one, play the second one. I think I only barely started it. Those are great games. Dishonored, highly underrated and definitely go under the radar. They are amazing world building, very, very weird. It's not steampunk, but just Victorian era, and with the plagues and stuff like that. But Redfall looked like fun. It doesn't really. The trailer was cool. It looked interesting. It says it will feature 4 heroes at launch, including Layla Ellison, the telekinetic, Jacob Boyer, the sharpshooter, Remy De La Rosa, and her robot companion Bribin, and Devinder Cruzley, the paranormal investigator. So he must have been the nerdy one. While the game will allow up to 4-player co-op, its single-player and multiplayer options will be blended seamlessly. So it is a 4. I thought looking at the trailer, it looked like kind of a Left 4 Dead kind of a thing, but apparently it also has single-player and the multiplayer options. That's cool. It looked interesting. I need to see more. Obviously, you can't go off of the CG trailers, and there's a really good reason for that, because one of the best CG trailers ever came out during this, and I'm going to play through that one here once I get to it, because I don't want to lose my spot. Diablo 2 Resurrected release date. Again, or did I say Diablo or whatever. Diablo 2 Resurrected. That's what got me. Okay, I did say it right, but my brain got good. September 23rd, 2021. Feature 8-player co-op, and the game will run at 4K at 60 frames per second. I would surely hope so. At least on the Xbox Series X. Cool. I know there's obviously it's a huge franchise. I don't do those over-the-top shooters. I know I've said that before. Stalker 2 release date was announced April 28th, 2022. Wow, that's a full year away. I don't know. It's called Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. I mean, they had the gameplay trailer, but really a lot of it was a bunch of dudes talking around a campfire, and that's pretty much most of it, and it was not that interesting to me. So I never played Stalker 1, so cool, let's get the sequel. It comes out in a year. Good for you. Back 4 Blood will be available on Xbox Game Pass day 1, and I think Back 4 Blood is like the Left 4 Dead spiritual successor game, if I remember right. That's coming out the 12th of October. Contraband announced from Just Cause developer Avalanche Studios. It's set in a 1970s smuggler's paradise called Bayan. And while we didn't get a look at gameplay, the tone of the world is set in the announcement trailer. And again, it's an announcement trailer. Which brings us to another announcement trailer. Outer Worlds 2 was announced. And if you never played Outer Worlds, then, one, you're missing out, because it's a great game. And if I remember it's Obsidian. Which Obsidian, they're the guys that did one of the best Fallout games, Fallout New Vegas, in like a year or in some change is how fast they got that out. And it's, funny enough, considered one of the best Fallouts out, and it wasn't Todd Howard and his people doing it. So Obsidian they just got a wicked sense of humor. And I haven't finished Outer Worlds. I need to. I really enjoyed it. I just fell off of it, and I need to get back into it. But their trailer, for those that didn't watch it, was brilliant. So brilliant that you don't even have to entirely watch it. You can just listen to it.
We begin by hearing an old, wise-sounding voice.
Very wise.
And we see a quiet, peaceful setting. This will make our game seem big and important. Now, something must break the serenity. Will this creature be in the game? No. Say goodbye to it forever.
That's the last we see of it, I'm sure.
Suddenly, and for no reason, people running. These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers.
And it would.
That wah sound can mean only one thing. We must gaze over an epic shot of a world, and there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
The Outer Worlds 2. That has to be the most brilliant piece of CGI, trailering ever done. They just basically describe exactly what all these companies do in their board meeting. All right, well, here's what we need. We need a guy with a wise voice and then a big vista, and they just describe everything that's going on the screen, which is basically, I could probably take that audio and edit it over any number of other video game trailers, and it would sync up perfectly to most of them. I mean, I think the recent Elder Scrolls one would have something like that. Even the Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker would. I bet you could probably do that. I hope people more talented than I am do that and found this trailer as absolutely hysterically funny as I did. And if you've played Outer Worlds, it is exactly in line with the sense of humor of that game. It's just so far out there. So I'm really glad Obsidian is making an Outer Worlds 2. A part of me was also kind of hoping that maybe they would throw Fallout back at them, but that's still a possibility. But now that they've got their own game that was clearly successful, Outer Worlds, I don't think it wasn't as successful as it deserved to be. But if it gets 2 of them, I can see this franchise taking off entirely. Because there's no way they don't do the same level of awesome that they did before. They can always CD Projekt Red it. I just don't see that happening. So Outer Worlds 2 announced. That's fantastic. Sea of Thieves is getting a Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. I mean, yeah, that doesn't make any sense why that wouldn't happen. They're putting Jack Sparrow in a Sea of Thieves pirate game.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. That's really all there is to that. That's kind of speaks for itself. Yakuza Like a Dragon is available today on Xbox Game Pass, and I'm downloading it. Well, hopefully not right now. That would have been bad timing. But I think I downloaded it earlier. As soon as I read that, I went in there and clicked on it. So hopefully it's downloaded by now. Otherwise, this would be one choppy broadcast. Although we do have very good high-speed internet here. So I'm sure it'll be all right. The real bitch is the 17 gig data cap. And I have to pay more for if I go over that. Which with games lately is becoming exceedingly easy to do, especially with things that are videos in 4K. That is a lot of data. But I've heard really good things about Yakuza Like a Dragon, that it's one of those ones you can actually go into. It's their first one that's an RPG as well. I've never played any of the Yakuza games. They've always just been under my radar. I know of them, but I don't know. I had a feeling, because all the other Yakuzas were on Game Pass, that I was not willing to buy Like a Dragon yet, because I had a feeling it would come to Game Pass. And look at that. I'm downloading it right now. Also, it happened before E3, but Battlefield 2042 was revealed. It looks interesting. It's been getting, from what I've seen, it's getting a lot of hate. I've never been if I have to pick between Call of Duty and Battlefield, I was always more of Call of Duty. Although 2042 looks interesting, I actually might get that. I liked the fact that apparently there's some ecological disaster and it can cause the weather patterns to shift. So you can, it can be rainy or snowy, and then tornadoes and sandstorms and things like that. And actually change the layout of the level and things like that. That's what they're saying, claiming. That's what the footage showed. But for some reason, a lot of people are like, but come on, guys, you can only go back to World War I and II so many times before you try to jump a future. And this is only 20 years into the future, so it's not that incredibly high tech. It's not like the Call of Duty that went to space that wasn't very good. So I don't know. It's just people are weird. The things they get upset about. Uden Chronicle 100 Heroes. I actually was not aware of what this was. It's an RPG, as far as I know. It's delayed till 2023, and a new spinoff is announced. It's a Suikoden spiritual successors. Yeah, RPG. That's what I thought. It was announced, and Rising as a spinoff game was also announced for 2022, and the other one was for 2023. Cool. 12 minutes release date was announced. This is a weird-looking game. You've got like 12 minutes in an apartment, and it's got Daisy Ridley as a voice and James McAvoy, and you just go around in an apartment, and you've got like 12 minutes. Let's see here. I don't know how much this is going to show.
How was your day?
Oh,
I have something to share.
When is this, my birthday?
We're having a baby.
Police, you're under arrest
William
for your
Dafoe.
father's murder 8 years ago.
What's going on?
Shut up! You know what this is.
You've been lying to me all this time?
I should never have told you.
I'm out of patience.
What?
Yeah.
I know I say this a lot, but...
It's like trapped in a time loop.
I say this a lot too, but...
And
okay.
I think the premise is you change things up. You start over, but you have the knowledge of what came before the loop starts over. And it's supposed to look, people that have played it for, I think, a half hour or like 36 minutes, I guess 12 minutes a piece, through a couple things, said it was really intriguing from what I've heard. So cool. That comes out August 19th. I actually probably would give that a look. Psychonauts 2 release date August 25th, 2021. Available on Game Pass on day one. So is actually 12 minutes, which is why I'll be trying all these games. Psychonauts, I never got into the first Psychonauts. I'm willing to try it though. So, it doesn't cost me anything. It looked interesting, and it's I like that old school kind of gameplay. It's cloud behind me. Microsoft Flight Simulator lands on Xbox Series X and S July 27th alongside a Top Gun-themed expansion, probably for the Maverick movie that I think was already supposed to be out by now. So I guess that benefited them. Flight Simulator absolutely needs jets. I've played the game. It is a lot of fun, and the technology is absolutely next-gen feeling. It needs jets, and I don't mean like 747s. I mean it needs like an F-16 Tomcat kind of thing. It need or F-22, a Harrier jet, anything like that. It needs those in this game. And then it'll be awesome. Then I'll play it again. Age of Empires 4 release date, October 28th, 2021. I was excited for this. I haven't played a real-time strategy game in forever. I like Age of Empires and StarCraft, which there's no sequels to. I think. If I'm not right, there's only the one StarCraft in there. Isn't that the big complaint? There's only the one. StarCraft 2. Oh, no, there's StarCraft. Yeah, 2 was the last one. That was it. And there hasn't been one since it came out, which was July. It's been 11 years now. Yeah. And who knows how long was it before the first one? Let's see. It's always good to do these on the air. Yeah, StarCraft was... Well, this doesn't say StarCraft. Release date. March 31st, 1998. Dang, that's been a long time. Makes me feel really old. So anyway, those were the games I cut my teeth on, real-time strategy games. I'm kind of excited for Age of Empires. That's it. I don't know. I mean, it's a real-time strategy game. So it's got a lot of personal stuff to me. My friends and I, we would play it on like LAN games and over the internet once it eventually came out, and I don't know why. We really latched onto that. We all sucked online against other people, but against each other, we were all pretty evenly matched, which was because we all sucked equally. So, Doom Eternal coming to Game Pass alongside Next Gen Upgrade. That's cool. I thought that was already on Game Pass. I swear I saw that on there. Doom Eternal coming Game Pass. Oh no, that's on the Ubi Play thing. This is Xbox Bethesda. Or is that on the EA Play? I don't know. Who does that? I swear I've seen it on my under my Game Pass section. It'll be next gen. That will allow the game to run at 60 frames per second with ray tracing. Evil Within 2, Rage, Fallout, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout Tactics, Dishonored, Arx Fatalis will also be joining Xbox Game Pass, I assume, also on that same day of June 29th. That is a lot of games. And for some reason, I wonder why. Those were all left out of that big group when Microsoft got Bethesda. Fallout 76 Steel Rain DLC is out July 7th. The Pit will arrive in 2022. I don't know much about that. And frankly, it's Fallout 76. I know there's a few people that care, and the one of you can go look it up yourself. No, it's funny enough. They actually say Pete Hines says Fallout 76 is one of the most popular games on Game Pass, and that's because it is the perfect price that you have to pay to play Fallout 76, which is nothing, absolutely nothing. That is the exact right price to play Fallout 76. Elder Scrolls Online Console Enhanced will be available next week. Good for you if you play Elder Scrolls Online on the Series X console or S console. I will tell you from playing on a very good computer, it does not get to look all that much better. It can only look so good, and it doesn't look. It's aging, and it's starting to show its age. Pure and simple. There's no real way around it. Party Animals brings adorable competition brawler to Xbox in 2022. Okay. The big one, I actually kind of was excited. I never finished the game, but now I'll have it because I was playing on my computer, but now I can play it on my big old TV. Hades is coming to Game Pass August 13th. Kind of excited for that. I actually will just play through the whole damn game again. I think I put like 7 or 8 hours into that. I'll just start the fuck over again. That's fine with me. And let's see. There's something called Somerville announced from co-founder of Limbo and Inside's Playdead, which means that's going to be a super weird game. It's coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2022. Limbo and Inside are fantastic games, so anything they make is going to be amazing. Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel to 2019's Plague Tale Innocence, will be out in 2022 and available on Game Pass. I need to finish that. I started playing that too, and it was really good. And then there was some Far Cry stuff, Slime Rancher, snowboarding, Atomic Heart. That was one. It's going to be out on Game Pass day one. It's a Russian game. It's very... I'm excited for it. It's one of the few games I actually am excited for. It's very BioShock looking, and it's just in a Russian setting and with robots and things like that. And it just looks weird, but the kind of weird that I want to get behind. And not in a way that would get me like in trouble and put in jail or anything like that. Just I'm for it. It's good. Looks good. Discover the dark secrets of Phoenix City in Replaced. Oh, discover the dark cities of Phoenix City in Replaced. So the game's called Replaced. It's a cyberpunk thriller, wonderful looking 2.5D art. That's coming out. Grounded, getting an update. Among Us is getting a 15-player lobbies. Good for you guys that like that. And The Ascent is coming out July 29th. I kind of like that one. It looks really cool. It's a very cyberpunk kind of a game. But yeah, it's not cyberpunk. But it's also one of those ones that's over the top, like top down in that Diablo kind of style, I think. So, all right. Because it's been an hour now. Moving on to Square Enix. I'll get through this. Really the biggest one that kind of surprised me was Guardians of the Galaxy shows official gameplay from the Deus Ex developers, which is cool. Kind comes out October 26th. I was really surprised. It looks kind of you only play as Star-Lord, but you have the rest of your team there. They're NPCs. It's third person. It looked like it had like RPG elements of the dialogue options in what they showed. Like you can go with somebody's plan and in a Mass Effect style way that's actually going to affect the story. So you had a thing where you were trying to sell Groot as a monster to somebody or Rocket, and Gamora. I think it was Gamora said, Groot was more monstrous, and Drax was like, it's Rocket. He's soulless little monster and all that stuff. So, and then you pick which one you want to go to as Star-Lord, the team leader, and you go from there. And I don't know. It looked it's interesting. It's very cool. It had similar, like the style, some of the style was very similar to Square Enix's Marvel's Avengers, which is not good, but that's because they did that online, and this is supposed to be a single-player campaign, which is probably what Avengers should have been, instead of this, always online feature thing that they're constantly trying to push these days. So that was kind of a surprise one. I did not expect, and it is super weird seeing these comic book versions of the characters we know from the MCU, because they don't look like they don't look like the MCU people. They look more like the ones from the actual comic book. Gamora's got like a tight-fitting armor stealth bodysuit. Guys, go on. Clap. They start playing in here. Come on. It's like an hour from when they're supposed to eat, so they start thinking, oh, we should make a noise so that we can eat earlier, and all they do is annoy me. So it doesn't work. Go on. There we go. Dogs. So the other one was Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin revealed. Boy, does this, I don't know, it doesn't look great. It's supposed to be like a Dark Souls type of game. It's from it's a new game from Ninja Gaiden and players. Ninja Gaiden. The trailer was not great. I gotta kill the chaos. The guy says chaos over and over again, and I'm not a huge fan of the hard Dark Souls kind of stuff myself. I would probably try to give this a shot, maybe, but I'm going to be honest. The trailer kind of told me what I need to, that it's going to be kind of janky and not that great and very repetitive. At least that's my opinion based off the trailer. Could be wrong. I don't know. It's not going to be out for a while. But it was not great. And the fact that they're the Warriors Light, they call it Final Fantasy Origin. So I'm assuming they're going to try to take story elements of Final Fantasy and be like, this is where it all came from. Who knows? I don't know. Babylon Fall is Platinum's live service co-op action game. Gets a new gameplay trailer called Babylon Fall. It's warriors called Sentinels. They work their way through the Tower of Babylon with the ability to use up to 4 weapons at once using something called the Gideon Coffin. I don't know. It sounds like another game of service, so I'm good. Avengers 2021 content roadmap revealed. Black Panther's coming out for that, if you're interested. Not many people are, at least according to the Steam numbers. Let's see. Click that up real quick. Life is Strange Remastered Collection. That's actually a good game. I never finished it, though. And there's something called Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered. Gathers the first 6 games for Steam and mobile. So it's basically the first 6, the pixel versions of first 6 Final Fantasies all in one spot. There we go. And which is cool. I personally have always been a big fan of Final Fantasy VI, but that was like my first real big introduction into all that. So cool, that's coming out. Legend of Maya is coming to PS4, Switch, and Steam on June 24th. And Square Enix Mobile gets a montage of a bunch of junk. So that's basically E3 so far in a nutshell. I was trying to find something on here. Community Hub. I think there's still a couple more days of it. They said this was day 3 is tomorrow. So I'm going to have more for next week. I don't know how much more there will be. Sony isn't at E3 this year, but they will be doing their own thing. So this is probably not the. Oh yeah, like right now on Steam, Marvel's Avengers has 534 people in game. Not a lot of people playing a game. So yeah, so we don't have Sony and PlayStation doing their thing. They'll probably do their own thing. Also, Nintendo as well is not around, so we're gonna have to hear from them separately. They'll probably just do their own thing in a couple weeks because they don't have to share the limelight with all the other companies. That seems to be their reasoning for that kind of stuff. I don't know how well it works. I personally think everyone benefits from globbing together, but I also could just be a selfish person that likes all my information all at once in one giant glob that I can barely keep up with, because that's just the way it should be. It's the way it always should be. And wow, I actually got through that very far quicker than I thought I would. I thought this would be a very long episode, but I kind of rushed through a lot of that. And if that was boring as hell, I apologize. I blame the fact that the host of this show is an idiot. Well, crap. That would be me. So, oh well. I always stand by what I say on the show, and I stand by that. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll quit digging around here. Just end the show. Remember, follow me over at twitch.tv/CrashWhaleLoading. Hit the Discord button over there. Join me on Discord and share stories just like Ericus did and other people. Redvale. Oh, yeah, which, by the way, I forgot to put that in there. So, since it's in here, the Netflix also announced Blood and Dragon and Splinter Cell animated shows. Blood Dragon and Splinter Cells, which means that we'll be getting a Splinter Cell show before we get another game. One more insult into the eyes of all the Splinter Cell fans out there. Just poking at it constantly. So that's cool. There's not a lot of information known on it, but they do make a very good point in the article that they're adapting an anime show, an anime show based on games that haven't come out since 2013. It's such a weird company, Ubisoft. So anyway, I'm Ashen Phoenix. Appreciate you listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
I am very disappointed.